You know that there is work to do when you're getting married to someone who doesn't think that they can share their finances and their resources with you. Because now I am afraid what exactly and what kind of marriage that's gonna look like. You're my heart. I love you. I can't breathe without you. You're all that I have. I care about you. You are my everything. Yes, all of these are good. But in addition to this, if you're not talking about some of these things that I am about to mention, then I am afraid what foundation you could be laying for your marriage. Whether you're dating, you're courting, engaged, whatever you call it, you must be talking about some of those things that I am about to mention so that you can lay that solid foundation that can help your marriage succeed. So stick around till the end. Hello guys, welcome back to our channel. If this is your first time, my name is Sarah Onoyemi and I am so excited you stopped by. On this channel, we love to help you and your relationship thrive. So if this interests you, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like our videos, and leave a comment below. I enjoy reading all your comments. So like I said, today I'm going to talk about what you must be talking about when you are dating, engaged, or courting, whatever you call it. Okay, and there are a lot of things you could be doing when you are engaged, courting, or dating, right? But what you do in your dating season or during your courtship or when you are engaged can really help you build a foundation for your marriage. So it's all about what are you doing? So now you're dating, you proposed to a lady, the lady said yes, you have a guy, you have received the proposal. What are you doing? What are you talking about? Or are you just hanging around, having, outing, eating out there, going to cinema, and all of these are really good, right? The romantic part, the romance, those are good. But in addition to that, you have to talk about distance, right? Because if you don't talk about them and don't have that foundation and understand these things, they are still going to wait for you anyway in marriage, right? Because you're not going to continue to do, the lovey romantic part all the time. Yes, that's going to be there, but you're going to have to really deal with, real issues in marriage. So let's jump at it, okay? The very first thing you must be talking about in a dating relationship with the person you're about to get married to is finances. Yes, money, kudi, ego, which one? So if you are from Nigeria, you understand what I'm talking about. Yes, you must be talking about money issues. Okay, so I was reading, a survey, and one of the things that I saw is, apart from sex, one of the things that also causes like big issues in marriage is finances, and even sometimes lead to divorce or really big problems in marriage. So what exactly are you supposed to be talking about when it comes to finances? Number one, you both have to have conversation about how you both think about money and see money in marriage. How does the other person see money? Are you both on the same page? For example, maybe one of you was raised in an environment where everyone knows what mommy and daddy makes, right? It's transparent. Everyone sees that, and your daddy is quite open with what he's making, and you know what that is. The other person could be raised in a family where daddy doesn't even share what he's earning, right? Mommy does her thing and daddy does his thing. They don't combine their resources together. And if you don't have conversation to know how both of you see money, because chances are that the way your parents do finances in their marriage, what you were raised seeing in marriage, is exactly what you're going to do if you don't get a superior or a higher knowledge. That's what you're going to do. So you need to have that conversation. Ask that question. How do you see money in marriage? Do you believe in sharing? Right? Do you believe in sharing your resources? Or what you think is, yes, I'm going to make my money and keep my money and use my money for myself, and maybe just a few things, that has to do with the marriage. And you can also make your own money and do what you want with your money. You both need to know if you see money and marriage the same way. So you need to ask the question, what's your thoughts about money in marriage? How do you think we should handle our money in marriage? The second thing you need to be talking about with finances is you need to ask each other, what financial approach are we going to put in place in our marriage? Are we going to keep a joint account, a single account, a personal account? And what exactly is joint account? Because many times people say, oh, I don't believe in joint account. I can't do joint accounts. But as someone, my husband and I sit with people, in our counseling classes all the time. And what we've seen is a lot of people say, oh, I can't do joint account, but they don't know anything about what joint account is. They don't understand the systems and the principles that guide joint accounts. And I get it, maybe because some of us have read stories on social media about these people did joint accounts, they kept their money together, and one person squandered the money or used the money to do something else, or the other person was not really accountable to the joint account and just used the money for something else. And because of that, we build an ideology around, oh, joint account is bad, don't do it, and so much about that. Okay, which is why I am not a fan of just consuming some viral videos about relationship and marriage out there without necessarily finding out about the backstories and some of the things that has happened, and not just take it hook, line, and sinker. So we need to be asking that question. What approach are we going to use in marriage? For example, you can be coming with a mind of, oh, I'm going to share my resources. Whatever I have belongs to you. And technically, this is what marriage is all about. Marriage is all about sharing. Marriage is all about doing life together. A healthy marriage at that. Okay, because, I'm aware that relationships sometimes can be complicated, right? But marriage is all about sharing, right? So if one of you have the mind of, oh, I'm going to come into marriage, share everything that I have, be open, but the other person doesn't see finances and their resources as something they can share when they get to marriage, that's already a problem. Right? That's already a problem, because now you have two people with two conflicting ideology, and marriage is all about agreement. Yes, you're going to disagree a little bit. You're going to see things in a different way sometimes, but the vast majority of what you're going to do and what would help your marriage succeed is that you have similar ideology and you see things the same way, because two cannot work together except they agree. So if the other person doesn't see money that way when it comes to marriage, then that's going to be a problem. Okay, and that there is work to do when you're getting married to someone who doesn't think that they can share their finances and their resources with you, because now I am afraid what exactly and what kind of marriage that's going to look like. Because ultimately in marriage, you share your body, you share body fluid, you even share your genetics, right? When you have children, you have babies, they are both a combination of your gene, the gene from the wife and from the husband coming together. Now I have a baby, and my baby looks like me in some ways, and it looks like my husband in some ways. How do you separate your gene? So if you're not going to do that, right, in marriage, you're going to share your fluid and all of these things, but why do you think that separating your finances is just the best thing to do? Think about that for a minute. Yeah, but you need to talk about these things, okay? So that when you see some of these conflicting things, you can really have conversation. I've heard about stories of people getting married and their spouse are not just open about their finances. I have heard stories of how the husband was not open about his finances to his wife, and the wife and the children really don't know what their father have when it comes to finances and resources. And now they probably are in a very they are in a dilemma. Maybe an accident occur and they need money, and the wife does not have access to the accounts. The children does not have access to the accounts. So the man ends up dying because, I mean, this is a sad story, right? But this is like an extreme. But a lot of people are not open with their finances. So before you go ahead in marriage, you need to talk about these things. Because if there's someone who is not even willing to share their finances, then you know there's a deeper problem. It's not just the problem of the money. It's a deeper problem. There's something else that is making them think that way, and you need to have that conversation to be sure that you still want to go ahead in that marriage. Okay. What else? What else? So the number 2 thing, and I'm just going to mention 2 things. There are a lot, but these are like the 2 big things you have to be talking about if you're in a dating relationship. The number 2 thing you have to be talking about is asking questions about your past and your background. Oh my goodness. This is so important. Because if you're gonna build a life with someone, if you're entering a lifelong journey with someone, you need to know where they are coming from, where they are, and where they are going. So you need to ask questions about their pasts. Ask questions about their background. How were you raised? What were the ideologies that you grew up with when it comes to marriage? What were some things that happened in your past relationship, if they've had some before? What were things that contributed to how you see things like this? You need to ask questions about their pasts, so that first you can at least have an ideology about the person you're getting married to. And when something starts to happen, you can have an idea about who you're getting married to. And when something starts to happen in the marriage, you can know where they are coming from. And number 2, why you need to ask questions about past and background is so that you can know patterns that have existed in the family or in their past, and how you can prevent that in your own relationship. For example, for me, the pattern that I have is that marriages are always a struggle. There are very, very few people that succeeded when it comes to marriage in my background. And this is something that my husband and I had to talk about, right? We had to talk about, this is where I'm coming from. And, he said, okay, that's fine. It's just telling us that we need to, hop up our games so that we can know how we're going to be intentional to also be sure that we don't repeat the same pattern. But I don't want to make this video unnecessarily too long. If you know that there are other aspects that you were supposed to be talking about, please leave them in the comment section below. Let me know what you're thinking. Thank you for always showing up and watching till I come your way another time.